And we're live.
We are live. Right.
Hey.
Hey.
All
It
right.
has been a week. It has been an interesting week. News is still flooding in. Different things are going on.
And is it a sign of like how rough the week's been, or did you decide to go artistic with your background? Because I just noticed the pictures like
No, that's a sign of how bad the week's been.
Oh gosh. Oh.
Ugh.
I don't know. It's been a harried week, but again, we've had like a lot of like just stuff.
Yeah.
It's just stuff.
It's like one thing after another after another. We had a senior in tech moment.
Oh, the senior in tech moment.
Uh-huh.
Who's the senior and what was the tech?
Mama Knight and her cell phone.
Oh gosh. Yes. Well, that was two seniors in tech.
Uh-huh.
Because someone had to just be like, you deal with it.
Well, that's because it was annoying.
Hello, Jessica.
How
No,
you doing?
what? So, okay, for what was going on, just briefly, it was your old phone you were trying to give to your mother.
Yes.
And gotta love Google and security and, trying to be useful. What was happening and what you guys were sitting there struggling with, and even Cricket, our provider, could not handle because it was actually one of their real phones, not one of our BYOBs, or BYODs, sorry. Not bring your own beer. Anyway, so bring your own device. It was one of their real phones, and we thought they could help, or you like because you were trying to handle this. And yeah, they couldn't follow what was going on. And what was happening is you had used the phone, had all of your accounts on it, or a fair number of them, and the phone is sitting there and Google is having a moment. We know this device, we know what account it was attached to, and you guys were all trying to sign in as your mother. And the phone's coming back, or Google's coming back and telling you, no, not going to happen. Hey, Brenda. And it just was stuck in this kind of loop of you can't do that. You can't do that. And so, yeah, finally yesterday got it working for her. Thankfully it was just a busted screen on our phone. So it was aggravating and annoying, not totally dead. So it's not like she's been dephoned for days while this was going on.
Yeah, because her YouTube would be, she'd get pissy over her YouTube and Facebook.
I know, right? Oh my gosh. So yeah, I forgot to create a shortcut for YouTube. So anyway,
you'll get a call.
I know, right? But anyway, so all it actually needed was briefly for your login to hit it, so that it could verify you knew what was going on as the previous owner. And then the next question was, do you want to continue set up as this person? Or to that effect. And it's like, no. And I thought for a second it was just going to put me in an endless loop, but it went back to the login screen. I put her information in and it breezed right through.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I get it now. It's a security feature. It's meant to prevent stolen phones just being factory data reset and given to someone else who can't verify that, hey, I know what's going on here. So, yeah, it was a moment.
Right. And then also in tech, Apple came out with the M1.
Yeah, we alluded to that one last show. Gotta love Apple right now. So, the M1 processor, the new line of Macs, these are their post Intel machines. And effectively what they're doing is Mac, for those of you who need a little backstory here, for years, Mac had its own architecture for their chips, known as PowerPC, versus like Intel and AMD. Two totally distinct architectures. It's why you could not, for a very long time, run Windows on Mac machines or run Mac on Windows or on Intel and AMD machines. Okay. So on the Mac side, many years ago, they created this daughter card that would let you dual boot. And you could run DOS or Windows and boot one way, or you could run Mac on the hardware. And that daughter card handled all the stuff. Okay. Then Mac or Apple decided they were going to go and partner with Intel for their processors. So then they had a more Intel architecture, which meant you could natively install Windows. And you could dual boot that way, or you could literally have a great big giant Apple machine running Windows. Okay. That deal with Intel never quite worked. And Mac, like Apple and Mac have both suffered from that. Like the Mac lineup has suffered. Like they've been on stale hardware for a while. Like, because literally when I price out machines, I keep having to kind of tell people, for the money you're about to spend for a Mac, I could do things for you in a PC that are beyond your wildest dreams.
Right.
So what Mac has decided, because this has gone back and forth with Intel, in the meantime, Mac has had a...
Jessica asked if we had a dog, and it's like, no, we have two.
We has two. But yeah, so this has gone back and forth for between Apple and Intel on the hardware. Also, I think Apple kind of realized they screwed up. Because the minute that Mac OS would run on Intel hardware, it became a hop, skip, and a jump to create a Hackintosh. Those not familiar with the term, it's the idea of taking PC hardware off the shelf and being able to load Mac OS on that machine, which technically is so many levels of illegal to terms of service from Apple. Like, this is their worst nightmare. They do not want Mac OS being something like Linux or Windows that you can just load on any machine. They want you to buy an Apple branded product.
Right.
So there we go. Now Apple's had enough. What they're doing with the M1 chip is effectively they're taking an iPhone and the system on a chip concept, which is your graphics card, your processor, all of it is resting on this one little piece of chip. It handles everything. It does everything just like in an iPhone it would. And they are now going to do that with their future lineup so that they can immediately cut ties with Intel.
Well,
the fastest way out of that.
Yeah. What I was noticing is the specs on the M1 are ridiculous. Like my desktop that we're getting ready to retire because it's, we have a better backup plan for me, is more powerful.
Well, again, that's kind of been, Apple's been a little stalled. Now, Apple will sit there and argue a lot of things. Mostly that, they have a superior operating system, that operating system is less intensive on resources, doesn't need as many resources. This is why it's better. And I'm going, bullshit. It's a $3,000 opening price. And we're still talking like i5s and i7s.
Yeah.
As their like max out.
Right.
And dual core at that.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, come on. Like, no, sorry, this is I'll call it, this is crap. In terms of, yes, I can understand that if you assume a lot about the user of the machine, then yeah, potentially, it's enough. It's enough.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start getting into the category of needing more advanced computing power, it's hard to sit there and argue, Apple. Really hard to sit there and argue.
Well, looking at the spec, I can't use a Mac. I mean, I max out base computers. Like Walmart specials, buy me 3.
Yeah.
So, looking at, maybe I should go over to Mac. Nope. Try again.
Well, but there's also some hints that it could potentially be the future of computing as well.
Right. But
just as a side note, kind of scary, is because when you start looking at like the Samsung lineup, you'll start noticing references to Samsung DeX, DeX. And that is the ability to hook up a Type-C hub that allows video output and has a couple of USB ports and an Ethernet jack. And effectively, you can hook a keyboard, a monitor, and, internet if you want to, up to your phone. And it runs this kind of lightweight, almost Unix environment or a Linux environment. And it literally acts like a desktop computer. You get a full screen browser. You get a,
And I wouldn't call it that. But my problem looking at the M1, not only is it 10 years behind most PCs, but it's one chip that's welded to the frame. So you get a memory core go down, it doesn't just pop out a card, put in a new card. Or you need more memory, you can't do that.
And that's some of the problems. That's where a lot of, especially in that one right to repair concept, which we've talked on the show about before, which Apple is totally against. That being part one. Part two, it's also a bigger step towards planned obsolescence. That you lose one part of it and the whole ship sinks. It's one tiny problem can destroy it.
Right.
Now for a lot of typical computer users, that sort of is what happens anyway.
Right.
But for someone like me, it means that in some cases I can scrap out a computer.
Right.
And we had a recent situation with a family member that came to us with 3 laptops and said, look, we're kind of desperate. We just need one working machine. Do whatever you have to.
Right.
This one's got a busted screen. We know that. This one, the hard drive's dead. This one's got this problem with it. We don't even know what's wrong with this other one. Right. And what can you do?
Right.
And I was able to sit there and go, okay, we're going to move some things around. This one has a working hard drive and a busted screen. I can't do anything about the screen without buying something.
Right.
And it's an older machine.
Right.
This one's newer, a little faster, but the hard drive's trashed. Here we go. We can make this work.
Right.
Oh, and Devin, to answer your question, COVID cases are kind of crazy in this area.
They're insane, and that actually moves us on to the next topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next topic being Walmart's got shut down in Beckley, and a couple other stores were shut down, closed for deep cleaning.
And that's becoming more of a thing. And then also, apparently, West Virginia's, as of midnight, will be on a mask mandate.
Yep.
You are no longer like it's no longer just polite and friendly. Like we tried polite and friendly. We tried telling you for the best health of everyone.
Right.
You didn't listen to that. So now it's a mandate.
Right.
So now there's actual legal consequences.
Right.
You can be arrested. If I do remember correctly.
Well, this is what Justice said, and I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to do my justice's telling you, but not telling you minor speech.
Yeah.
He's calling on business owners and managers in West Virginia to step up and make sure everyone in these businesses is wearing a face covering at all times inside the building. Emphasize that the state will order businesses closed if they do not work to enforce the order. I'm telling you straight up, as straight up can be. The next thing that follows is you know what Justice said, and that is shutting down the businesses. Business owners and employees encounter customers who refuse to wear safe coverings. They are encouraged to call the police. If you post that sign outside, everyone blatantly refusing and challenging going into your business, whatever it may be, call the police. He said they are totally refusing, and they are basically trying to enter your business without a mask. They are obstructing justice, and they are blatantly, absolutely will suffer the consequences of that. Residents are also encouraged to report businesses that choose not to enforce the order, Justice said.
Yeah, and catching up with Devin and what she was saying is it sounds like Governor DeWine did basically the same thing.
Right.
Like we might have gotten the light DeWine version of it, but it's effectively same boat.
Right. Now this is what Justice is saying, because we have seen this happen connected now with 2 stores in our area. The Beckley Walmart's got shut down. And I'm not sure if they've reopened.
Yep. And then there's Habitat for Humanity, I believe it was. It shut down.
Got shut down.
Yeah.
And they're now connected as super spreading locations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and ultimately, this is one of those things we've gone for months trying to ask nicely. Everyone's tried to ask nicely.
Right.
So, and unfortunately, it's not working.
Right.
In terms of asking nicely. You've had to have seen it. I've seen it so many times. In which you're just standing there like you're wearing a mask in name only. Like, you know, you're wearing a mask, hanging off one ear. You're wearing a mask. You're wearing a mask. You have a mask. You know, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Stop.
Well, here's the facts, and this is what he's saying. Yeah, and this is what I call mind ball speak. They tell you today, well, you guys better go and take care of that, or I'm going to have to.
So, yeah, this is only going to get worse. Like, go ahead and just please do it.
Right.
Like, and I feel like most of our audience is cool. But you know, if you're watching this later or whatever, you know, you don't typically follow the show, like, please.
Right.
Just please let this go away.
Right. According to the code, those attempting to abstain or hinder or obstruct a law enforcement can be fined between no less than $50 and more than $500, or be confined to jail for more than 1 year. Justice says his order
for no more than 1 year.
Yeah, or both.
Or both. Yeah.
Yep. Winter sports are delayed to the 11th. Football and volleyball are allowed to continue as long as they remain in green. All winter sports are canceled. Practice must cease immediately. Third, Justice will order all 55 counties in the state to close schools from Friday following Thanksgiving until next Thursday. You'll be out of school Thursday, Friday, the week of Thanksgiving, Monday, Tuesday, the week after Thanksgiving.
And now that's physical school locations will be closed. There will be e-learning continuing. So yeah, that just a little bit. Right. Hey, Gwen! Yay! We have a Gwen. Sorry, I got excited.
Yay! Miss Gwen's here. He's ordering all nursing homes to be tested twice a week. He is also ordering, and what he's not saying here, but I tell you, the next thing he's going to do is he will go back to a stay-at-home order, and he will shut down every non-essential business. Meaning, if you are not a pharmacy, pure grocery store, or gas station, you will be shut down.
Yeah. Which, I mean, hi. Yeah. I think it's well overdue. I think it is unfortunately a sign of the fact it was an election year. That it didn't happen until after the election. So, surprise, y'all. COVID didn't go away after the election. It wasn't an evil liberal plot. You know, we're still here.
Right. But no, under that government order, if you walk into a store and it doesn't have a mask, you are to call the police.
Yeah, or a hospital.
Or important. A hospital.
Yeah. But we're also seeing already some hospitals shifting back to, you know, no one but the patient.
Right.
And unless it's, you know, terminal non-COVID. Right. And even then, that's
iffy.
Yeah.
We have also seen 1 million cases in 2 weeks in the United States.
Yeah.
Como, y'all guys need to be watching Como, because Como is acting as the trendsetter.
Ooh, Gwen brings up a virtual Beltane. Hey, talk about being able to find a location.
Hey, that is an option on the table. I will be calling my Beltane council the day after Yule.
And I just had a really cool design. I just had a really cool design pop in my head. So, sorry, guys. You're going to watch me scramble for a pen because I'll forget it. Because I'm horrible about that.
Right.
Like, I had this really great idea, and now I forgot it. So, you know, bear with me. Bear with me.
Right. Like, well, I'll talk about Como because he got some trash today and some trash talk.
Yes.
From Trump. Hi, Alexa. And here's why. He's been acting as a president should. Like, if he does, he is Republican, and it'll be the first time.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Well, Alexa, why can't you tell me, you know, the cosmos of it? But anyway, he has been on a plane, taking supplies, staff to Georgia when it was in a heat wave. He has been doing everything he can up in New York. He has been securing supplies, securing stuff. And then Trump comes in and goes, well, I don't know if Como is ready for it. And it's like, oh, no, we ain't playing this.
And hello, Alexandria. And yes, welcome back. What is it, Old Home Week?
Yeah.
Aw.
Hi, Kathy. So it was like, oh, you know, the village idiot is saying something else when we're looking at a man that has managed to maintain the largest city in America, took it from you can't walk out your house to at least being able to. Oh, Massachusetts shut down last week. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. This is not getting better.
Wait, I'm a little confused. So Gwen was talking about Massachusetts shut down last week. Am I just having a moment? Because I swear I'm reading that as Alexandria wishes Massachusetts would shut down. Okay, so we'll figure that out. Either that or I'm just having a moment. Maine. No, that's not Maine. I'm having a moment. My state abbreviation. No, Massachusetts did not shut down yet.
Okay.
Well, that was graceful. You managed to eat hot dogs with chili earlier and get nothing on you, and here I am. I can't keep coffee in my mouth. Good Lord.
You need a new tongue ring, honey.
Hi.
I know. We're going to get you too.
No.
Uh-huh.
No. Oh, Alexandria is pointing out they rolled back to step 1 of stage 3.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, everything, guys, I'm warning you, you may get into this big thing, and it's going to be probably really bad, of shutting down. And that's because it's going to get bad. We've been told and told and told.
Yeah, apparently Massachusetts numbers are ridiculous, and yeah, it's kind of the wish they would. Please shut down. This is bad.
Well, and this is changing a lot of things. We're going into a holiday season. We're going into winter. Flus and colds get bad in winter. Take your vitamin D. Repetitively, our health coaches return to saying take your vitamin D.
Ooh, 2,500 in Massachusetts each day last week. Damn.
I haven't got that many people like.
No, that's Connecticut, honey. Connecticut is tiny.
Okay. Massachusetts is tiny too.
It's not that tiny. It's actually pretty decent size.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very easy to remember. Connecticut is where they will not notice a town full of robots.
We will. I have a dream vacation, and it takes me through Massachusetts.
There you
or
go.
Maybe it is Massachusetts. But
yes, it is Massachusetts. Like it shouldn't be a big surprise, but his dream destinations are Salem and Provincetown. It's going to be a hell of a trip. It's gay, it's witchy gay.
Uh-huh. And no, I won't be working when I do take that vacation. We may even get a new cell phone and leave mine at home.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Scary idea. Basically, yes. Although, then again, that's going to cause us to talk about the map of West Virginia that everyone has, and then that's going to get our video taken down.
Well, everyone loves how I show.
It involves your hand and certain fingers moving in directions. And yes, if you live down here, you will at least once give someone a general geographic idea of the distance between 2 points.
Right. So what's your thoughts on the Walmart's being shut down? Because we have abandoned Walmarts.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I think there was I have a lot of thoughts on Walmart, and especially right now. Like, I think we've all gotten way too used to the Walmart concept.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it was just a natural thing that occurred, like the super mega store, like Target and Walmart, and this massive store where you can, like, literally go from conception, pregnancy test, or conception prevention, pregnancy test, baby care, all the way through, like, the soccer mom thing, all the way to end of life care, to hell, I think Walmart sells urns. Like, that's a lot for one store.
Yes, they do sell coffins. I've thought about ordering one
I thought it was just urns. Okay, so yeah, like that's a range. That's a lot of stuff to put under one, like, umbrella organization.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and it actually has interfered with a lot of small towns. A lot of small communities have been devastated by Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
Not only when they arrive, but also when they decide it's not profitable enough and they move out.
Right.
It's also why we're seeing the proliferation of Dollar Generals throughout like West Virginia, especially.
Right.
And as a replacement or a stopgap for a lot of communities that either are not big enough individually to be serviced by a Walmart, because now you have traditional like grocery stores and other retailers that can't do anything.
Right.
They're fighting Walmart for customers over here. They can't take the risk of going over here and opening a mom and pop. Like you can't really, in some areas, justify opening an IGA or a local, it's the middle of nowhere, but there's a garage over here, or there's a, store over here. Because
I think middle of nowhere is a great place for like a country corner. It's not just a store, it's a restaurant, it's a garage, it's a whatever.
Well, but then again, you're popping back into that concept of trying to keep everything under one roof. And that's been a big problem, is the more stuff you try to put into that store, the more space you need, the more people you need, the more, like, for instance, hire a mechanic, or at least someone that is a functional mechanic.
Right.
Try to add in a pharmacy. You need a pharmacist. That's a state of West Virginia requirement, and I think it's a requirement of every state. You have to have one licensed pharmacist on premises. All these things, it makes it very hard to compete.
Right.
And costly. It means that for that, country corner concept, and we're referencing that. We actually have a store here called that has a little bit of everything.
And they're
not
wonderful.
that big, but it has a little bit of everything, and their food's amazing. But believe me, the store doesn't look like much. And I'm just being blunt.
It's a general store.
It's
and I don't know where he's getting his cabbages from, but they're 4 times the size we're seeing.
Yeah, they're huge. But what you run into, and we've even run into it there, is that price-wise, if you're having to have a price shopper moment, you can beat their prices anywhere.
Right.
I mean, just bluntly, you can beat their prices anywhere, and that's because the prices they can negotiate wholesale are way higher than what a massive global corporation like Walmart, who doesn't order, 100 units or a couple of cases or a few cases, but orders thousands of cases or, millions of products.
Right. But here's the difference with him, especially with his vegetables, is he grows those. And yes, I want to read Devin's comment. Matter of fact, I'm going to put that comment on the screen because it's true.
Yes. Okay, but I have to stop right here and ask, did y'all see the It's a Southern thing where they, it was the meeting for Dollar General, and basically Dollar Generals were growing inside of Dollar Generals? Apparently they're just, like multiplying and dividing. Anyway, that's a great episode. We'll have to link to it later.
Yeah.
Because, oh my God, I about died.
But anyhow, yeah, they literally are. If you see a big lump of dirt, it's a leave it be. Dollar Generals are trying to grow.
Yes.
But it's, for me, like going to Country Corner for food, for produce, because it's not wax covered, it's not been infused with hormones. I don't know what he's growing his cabbages in, but they're huge. Like one cabbage is like 7 meals.
Yes. Well, yeah, and that's here's our compare and contrast. We bought one from there. We have a 6-quart Instapot. Okay, we do a dish called cabbage and kielbasa. I grew up with it. Again, we can share a recipe. It's not that hard. It's a quick, dirty meal if you love cabbage. It is awesome. But, okay, so the cabbages we've bought at Kroger, at Walmart, at Grant's, at basically anywhere, We've been buying 2 of them. And there is plenty of room in this 6-quart Instapot. Okay, the one ginormous cabbage, dense, thickly packed, gorgeous cabbage that we got from there, when we, like, this was our realization moment. We get this one cabbage, and I'm sitting here having I don't know what to do. I can't get all the cabbage in, and then I have to add more stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was literally almost to the point I thought I was going to have to shred the cabbage.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, I leave it kind of chunky. Yeah.
Yeah.
What? I said dirty meal. Like quick and dirty.
Out of that one head of cabbage, we got the 6 quarts of cabbage and kibasi, a batch of maslal, and then I still had to freeze cabbage to fry later.
Yeah.
So yeah, and it was like $4.26.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a cabbage you could throw at someone and kill them with it. Like
Or
it was
a
a wrecking ball, short a chain.
Well, there's this cleansing ritual that comes out of Louisiana that talks about sweeping a cabbage around your house to collect negativity and then throwing it in the trash.
Oh.
Yeah, that one would be like if you got a bad problem.
Because otherwise, in my family, that's called abuse of cabbage. It is worse than abuse of alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
Like order of magnitude there.
Right.
But yeah, no. So real quick, for those of you who want to like pause this and write it down, it's cabbage, 2 cups of either like beef broth or just water. It's fine. Stick of butter cubed, some dry minced onion, like enough to go in the palm of your hand. And like about 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. What else?
3
I'm having a moment.
2 things of French onion soup mix, and my addition to it is an onion and bacon.
Yeah, okay. So that's your stuff. I grew up with it. I've modified it from what my mother did. Did you mention the turmeric? We usually add that. It helps with the gassiness.
I did not mention the turmeric, but yes, and it's great for arthritis. It's also great for hypertension. It's great for cholesterol. Like turmeric should become your next thing for pepper.
Well, right, but turmeric in general, I like. I've had gallbladder surgery, just to overshare. Without the turmeric, I can have 2 bowls, and then I get to like dream about it for a month before I get to have 2 more bowls. With the turmeric, I can, as long as I don't go crazy, I could eat it until it's gone.
Right.
I just can't do a whole lot all at once.
Right.
You know, which is a big difference. Like, if I have the 2 bowls without turmeric, I'm in pain.
Right.
Love every minute of it. It was worth it, but I'm in pain. Like, that's just one of those, if you've had gallbladder surgery, you will find they give you the big giant list of foods. And after you quit freaking out thinking you can never have anything on that list again,
right,
what you find out is there's a few items that will apply to you. Like I can eat all the fried food I want. That doesn't bother me. But like beans and cabbage, I have to be careful with because if I don't do it right, I'm going to suffer.
Right. And, you know, with, you know, and it's like we're starting to get some really good deals. Dollar General, you're using the app there. Kroger's is now doing cash back. You know, we're getting Amazon delivery with 10 to 15% off the price. It's already cheaper than what we're paying here.
Well, but again, that's some of the problem with like the like IGA, mini Walmart, or even just a local store. Is these are the 21st century options, and they are really undercutting the ability to have a local thriving economy.
But here's the other side of that. You know, we're still going to Country Corner and grabbing produce because it's fresh and homegrown. We still go and get their food. If he makes sausage this year, I'll get some of his sausage. And then there's like some local farms that I'm like, when are you guys going to put up your beef?
Yeah, really. Hey, Mika.
Hi, Mika.
Yeah.
But really and truly, guys, listen when I say wear masks, or we will be in a Britain shutdown situation. I think that's what it's going to take to stop these numbers, because they're going to get higher. Now, another misnomer that is being reported, and you know, unfortunately, the CEO has had to come in time and time again to say it. Pfizer is not part of Warp Speed.
Warp Speed being
the government team program to gain U.S. interest in controlling the virus.
Yes. So, yeah, Pfizer did not self-participate or did not choose to participate. They are currently looking like they're headed to market.
Yep.
And yeah, no, not part of that.
Yeah. They have a couple contracts with the government to secure a certain amount of doses. Guess what? They have that with all governments. But no.
Well, vice versa. Vice versa, the U.S. government has that with literally any company right now.
Right.
Like if you're remotely, possibly could come up with something. There's a purchase agreement.
Right. Big woohoo. You know, so, and I'm seeing it cross-reported both wrong, if that makes sense.
Okay.
That, yes, Pfizer has governmental contracts. Guess what? They've had governmental contracts. No, they are not part of Warp Speed. Yes, they are actually having to apply through the FDA. And right now, looking at their stats and the information that's being put out, they're our best option.
Yeah. Oh, good deal, Kathy. Oh yeah, turmeric's amazing for your body, but yeah, literally you can like add a half teaspoon. You'd be surprised. But yeah, no, some people, like I've heard that some people have the gallbladder surgery and they're fine. But I want to go back real quick to Devin and go, please keep an eye on that. I unfortunately got a little misdiagnosed. We just thought I had, and this has been many years. I just thought and my doctor did too, that I was just having really bad indigestion. And so put me on medication for that. And I ran around for like another 2 years with a failing gallbladder, not knowing that that's what was happening until I literally woke up one Saturday morning and thought I was having a heart attack. Called 911. Had a lovely EMS person, which I should be more grateful for, but instead I just got angry at the county EMS service. And it's a thing through North Carolina, and we'll get to that in a second. Who went, because he has the little portable EKG, and he goes, good news, bad news. He said, you're not having a heart attack, but you probably will if I put you in the back of this ambulance and take you to the hospital right now. And I went, what do you mean? And he said, well, if you were having a heart attack, we wouldn't be having this discussion, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper. You're like, no insurance pays for North Carolina ambulance rides, and it starts at $1,000 for me to take you to the hospital. And I went, oh God. So yeah. Anyway, I got angry about that, but I went to the hospital on a Saturday afternoon. By the time friends got there and could drive me to the hospital, went to the hospital on Saturday afternoon, immediately got pumped full of drugs. I felt no pain. And Sunday morning, first thing, I had emergency gallbladder surgery. Because it was kind of this like touch and go of whether I was going to make it to my scheduled surgery time of Sunday morning without it rupturing.
Right.
Luckily, I did. It was a quick, easy surgery. The worst part was the recovery.
Right.
But yeah, keep a good eye on that. That was my goal to say with that. And if you do have to end up having the surgery, don't sleep in your bed. Do not, under any circumstance, if you're going home alone, do not sleep in your bed. You will want to. It sounds like a wonderful idea. It'll feel great while you're sleeping. The biggest problem I had after that gallbladder surgery is, the old children's song, the head bone's connected to the neck bone, connected to you suddenly learn what all muscles are involved in the process of setting up, and how many of them got moved during your surgery, and it will knock the wind out of you and you will struggle to set up.
Mm-hmm.
Don't care how healthy, thin, fit you are. It's going to hurt like hell. I ended up, once I finally got my poor choosing butt out of bed, I ended up sleeping on the couch for a week because I could use the side of it with the opposite arm to push myself up.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, just a note for the future. If you're having gallbladder surgery, do not go home. Lay your cell phone in the middle of the living room with no house phone and go lay down in bed.
Mm-hmm.
Because you will have the lovely thought with your lovely mental dialogue when you wake up 18 hours later, like I did, of you try to set up, you're gutted by the pain, you lay back down, and it takes you 45 minutes during which you start negotiating your dignity. And I mean that in terms of, I'm 20 some years old. It's been a while since I've urinated in a bed. I'm okay with this. This can happen.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah.
That's where I ended up. And that it took everything I had to force myself out of that bed.
Mm-hmm.
I did make it to the bathroom. But yeah, I'd started to bargain it.
Mm-hmm.
Really bargain it of it's okay. It'll be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my notes for anyone having gallbladder surgery. It just really
my notes for everyone having surgery is do not go lay down in a bed.
Mm-hmm.
Get your butt up into the recliner, order one, because I promise you, you will love your recliner. You can lay in it, you can sit in it, you get tired, oh big woohoo, and normally the living room is closer to the bathroom than the bedroom.
Well, and I'm just starting to hit this point in my life. I think at 25, they should start issuing them to people.
Recliners, yes.
Yes. Happy 25th birthday, you own a recliner.
Mm-hmm.
You can go set it in the garage, put it in a storage building, whatever, till you need it. But sometime in the next few years, you're going to need to own one.
Yeah.
Get over it, get used to it, move on. It's an ugly piece of furniture. I know. We all know. It's not aesthetically pleasing. It isn't.
Well, depending on the Queen Elizabeth ones are beautiful.
Oh, those are such crap. Those are only good for skinny little people.
Oh, I have some said love sitting and sleeping in one. Reminds me of a Jerry chair.
That's just wrong. Oh my God. Yeah, let me tell you, like, I don't know where Devin's at, but yeah, I've figured out later my warranty expired somewhere north of 25.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just keeping the jalopy moving.
You're not a jalopy. You just need an oil change.
Oil change, tire rotation, new frame, knock out some dents, a little Bondo.
Oh, God. All right, so what's up on to the next topic? Other than me having my crystal anniversary.
Oh, yes, you do have your Keen Crystal anniversary. Welcome to 15 years on Keen.
Yes.
Yeah, so what's that been like? Like, what's the biggest change you've seen? Like, from beginning to end? Like, go all the way back.
Computing power.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to have a home phone. It is truly now work where I want. Like, if I want to go work at the beach, I can go work at the beach.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I always think sometimes it's interesting with that much time with like one company to stop and think back.
Mm-hmm.
Because like every company has that progression over time. Like it wasn't always like this.
Right. I don't like a lot of the non-individualization that we've seen leave. Like our listing pages are now standardized.
Mm-hmm.
People don't need to know HTML code to create a listing. Payroll's about the same, although I'm at a price I never thought I would be at, because originally when I started I was 99 cents a minute. Now I'm at like $4.52.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just 15 years, and this fee, that fee, this fee, that fee. Although I'm making about the same, which is scary.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a little scary.
Yeah.
But okay. Well, no, it's just I remember I always think back to when I was working with this one company, and the owner made a comment one day in this back and forth message, and a bunch of us were sitting there like, how drunk is he right now? And because we knew the owner drank and he was on vacation. As he's like typing all this into his phone or his BlackBerry at the time. That's how far back. But so we ended up asking one of the original employees, what in the hell is he talking about? Like, how like out of his gourd is he right now? And so she's explaining that back when this was like a 5-man company, there was no computer system. All of the accounts were in folders. And the way they had set up the desks, there was a literal brick. And used to be the worst part of your day was end of month when you had to process all of these accounts. And you would have so much weight with the folders, it would knock the brick over and then everything scattered. And we're like, oh my God. And then we're sitting here going, and now we have a data center.
But no, after 15 years, Keen is much more responsive. A lot of the things that, I get pulled into meetings now that I never thought I would be. Not even that, but, I have the CEO's email address.
Absolutely.
And it's like, oh, no, I'm not some little chimp. You don't get to play that game. I will go to your boss's boss.
And actually, in one situation, you did. You had to, because it was like, y'all aren't listening.
Yeah.
Like, I've tried to tell you, you won't listen. Like, here you go.
Right.
Like, dear sir,
dear Lord,
this is going all wrong.
Here is your documentation. Which it's much easier now to document crap. And I think that, that's why they like me, is because I'll say, no, your app isn't working. Here, let me give you a video of the experience I'm having.
Well, and that is a really nice technology piece that we have now is, and if you're on a Windows machine, and offhand, I can't remember the Mac way of doing it. I'm sure there is. But on a Windows machine, like you always have Windows key G, which opens gaming mode, but allows screen recording. of whatever app you're in, to varying degrees of usefulness. But it can be a very useful tool. Not to mention like TeamViewer and remote assistance and things like that.
Yeah.
To actually let someone watch what went wrong. And in an age of decent broadband, as long as you have access to it, and I pretty much assume if you're working from home you do, it means that this whole like situation of work from home can have a lot of similarity to the older school, needing to be in the office just so the IT dude or, IT chick can figure out what the hell went wrong, and you can click by click show them.
And
that used to be a big part of it for me, was having to have someone there.
Right.
And like, show me what you're doing, because what you're telling me isn't telling me anything.
Right.
But anyway, sorry. So back to Keen.
Yeah. I know the CEO. I'll have no problem shooting him an email. I'll probably even have his home phone number in one of his emails, because when he first went remote, he sent out his phone number. But no, Warren's great. Some of the team members there have really changed over time. I've seen a few of them go, a few of them grow. Like our current part of our current community team, I remember when he was a CS agent, and I'd ring him up at 2 a.m. and go, "Hey, go in there and change reset my account. You guys are
screwing me up.
Someone go kick the monkey and feed him a banana."
Put the gerbil back on the wheel.
Yes, this ain't hard to figure out. Yeah. But no, and what's even more funnier is, I am one of those advisors that'll hit a network right when they're starting and test them out. Within this last quarter, Keen has 5 of the companies that I was beta testers for.
Yeah. They've been picking up companies. It's been kind of interesting.
Yeah.
But it's also interesting because you've been part of multiple networks. Like, you actually had a moment where they were talking about like the integration of these sites, and you were just nailing out like, keep this, dump that, keep this, dump that. Oh God, could we please get?
Right.
Please, could we get
this one component? Want to start intermediating more social media on Keen, and they're having a real hard time grasping that one. One of the companies that just say it was Bitwine, and I tested and helped develop their social media posting platform. And I know you guys are probably going,
well, it's welcome to behind the scenes. It's not all, Miss Cleo.
No, not all Miss Cleo. Oh, and please, she's a good actress. She was never meant to be anything but an actress.
But more importantly, this is not, like, hi, welcome to behind the scenes of who you're talking to.
Yeah.
He is not on a tropical beach in a hut wearing a sarong, being, served Mai Tais in a coconut. That's not how this works. That's not what it looks like. It's not, that's not the deal.
Right.
It isn't. None of the business looks like that anymore. Like, you wish you had Cabana boys with silver trays bringing you a ringing phone. I know you do.
Yeah.
It's okay. That's not how this works.
Well, no, because she died a few years back. Virginia did die. But see, here's the thing, and this is what everyone forgets. Miss Cleo was a part. We paid someone to write her commercials, because I was a trainer during that time for the original parent company.
Well, and it's one of those, like, the horrors of success is it was a brilliant marketing campaign.
Yes.
That was very identifiable, that made her a household name, that, like, I say it, you guys thought it, you heard it.
Yeah.
Instantaneously.
Yeah.
Beautiful marketing campaign. Unfortunately, it was too good.
Well, no, this is what happened. This was the problem. Now, back in those days, we're talking 80s and 90s, you had to have a house phone with a speaker on it, because otherwise you would drive yourself freaking crazy. You would dial in, feed in your access code, and be connected to your operator. And your operator would say, "Hi, glad to see you're logging in on time. We currently have this many customers online. You will get a beeped when you're in line."
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's that whole
Oh,
that.
Evan, hold on. Let me share history, and then we'll go into her. And we'll go into her. All right. So you would listen to the awfulest hold music. But granted, during that time, the advertisements was looking for housewives that have a lot of female intuition. Work from home at the leisure of your day. Make extra money.
Mm-hmm.
And they would fly you out to either Atlanta, LA, or Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
You get a weekend training with me and a few others and a few people to teach you how to talk. And then you got shipped back home, and you get a call at 2 a.m. We need you on the network now. Log in, because we would get swamped.
Yeah.
Here came in the Miss Cleo problem. Our operators got stupid because we had people, every name under the book, Sylvia, June, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So they just assumed when people called in and wanted to speak with Miss Cleo,
mm-hmm.
that was a new psychic, and her extension is such and such, because Virginia did have her own extension. We only made internal calls through the internal things. She never was a psychic. She was never supposed to have her own extension, but she wanted to understand the full operation, so they put her through the system.
Mm-hmm.
She never gave a psychic reading. Everything was scripted.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is no one taught our operators at the call center that that's not a real extension. You can't use that extension. Mm-hmm. Don't ever send a call to that extension.
Instead,
no, they didn't send calls. It lit up in the system that it was always busy.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't taught that if it's busy, they can't go in line.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the problem came in, is they would just put them on hold, not understanding that the minute they put them on hold, the charges started happening.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be, "Hi, thanks for calling company." I won't say the company because it's still in business.
Yeah. And side note, not Keen.
No, not Keen.
Keen didn't do this.
Keen wasn't even an idea in Walter's brain then.
Yeah.
Who would you like to talk to? Oh, I'm sorry, she's busy. Would you like me to send you to one of our exclusive master psychics?
Mm-hmm.
She's got a line. Let me go ahead and just transfer you over to Master Psychic Gloria. She's her cousin. That's the way the marketing plan looked like. That's what was supposed to happen. That's what happened the first 6 months. We hired a new outsource for our call center, and it failed.
Because one little note didn't get transferred is not a real extension. And right. Here's how you handle that.
Right. Oh, yeah. Test and... Now, in those days, you got tested and trained. Like, you got tested. You had to do 3 test readings. You had to know your crap. And then you got sent and trained. If your specialty was tarot, you got trained in a weekend how to read tarot, how to do playing decks. And then you had like, back then, I was a manager. But if I was a reader, I had much more support staff.
Right. Well, and then you should add on that, like, there's reading tarot, and then there's professionally reading tarot. There's a difference.
Yes.
Reading tarot is a fun thing you can do for yourself, your friends, and, as a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
Professionally reading tarot gets into the finer points of the legalities of it. Can you make money doing that in this location? What subjects do you have to avoid? What do you have to do legally to, work in all these different areas?
But
And it's complicated.
yeah, but no one does that training anymore.
Well, basically, no. Well, you still do. That's your tarot too.
That's my tarot too. But that for any other network is not.
Ooh. Tea is spilling.
Oh, Kathy brings up a good thing, and I'll have you read that in a minute. But back when the old days, you got training on what you cannot say. We knew if we had customers from China, we could not talk about government issues. There was a full 8-hour seminar on this is what you cannot read on. They don't do that anymore. I do that in my Tarot 102. I do business taxes and all that. The companies no longer do that anymore. Andrew Brewer, I will have to look him up because a lot of people have changed names. Because these are the days.
Well, and you should point out that, one of the biggest pieces of advice you give people if they're going, and it's part of that 102, do not use your legal name to work on networks and put yourself out there.
Right.
Because unfortunately, you occasionally hit someone that this isn't going to go well. Everyone from spouses who get angry over the reading itself or the fact that money was spent in such a manner because they totally disagree. Do what now?
I've not worked with Andrew before. I thought that may be goldfish.
Yeah. But then there's also the thing that some companies used to end up copywriting names of their advisors.
Right.
Or trademarking those names.
Right.
Sort of like Miss Cleo, I'm sure became a trademark.
Yeah, it's been trademarked for years. You can't even get MissCleo.com, or you didn't used to be able to get MissCleo.com. So, yeah. But no, I've not worked directly with Andrew before. But there's a lot I haven't worked with. There's a lot I see on TV, and I'm like, oh, honey, I can't believe you're doing that. If one of my students ever walks up to someone in Walmart and says, your mother is contacting me, I will be at your door knocking it down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like the laundry list of issues you had with that one, session thing that I went to on your behalf. Yeah. You had so many issues with the fact that you have an attachment. Just walk up to random people and be like, you have an attachment. And, blah, blah, blah. Or, I'm feeling moved to tell you blah, 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 blah. To, again, someone who did not ask you to do this and certainly not in a room full of other people.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's highly unethical, highly a misuse, and that is normally a scam artist. People going, you have an attachment, you have a demon in your house, you have this, you have that. I take high issue to.
Yeah. It's no. Well, and it's, you can also add on to that, it's not that your tarot cards don't go everywhere that you go. They do. But they don't come out everywhere you're at.
Well, not only that, but I don't work. David tells me shit in Walmarts, and I'm like, not going to walk over and have a conversation with this woman. I may look at them and go, the peas are on sale over there. But I go into stores and people start talking to me and telling me everything. That's another reason Aeson doesn't go to Walmart. But go ahead and spill Kathy's tea.
Yes. So Kathy's tea is, I remember when you were sick of the bullshit from Keen and you tried telling them how to do better and you did succeed.
Oh, I did. Of course, I was fired at one time from Keene for about 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And they came back and said, will you please come back to work?
Yeah, because apparently your clients mounted an effort.
Oh, they got more than an effort. Apparently, they succeeded because I got some feedback later on from their CEO that he got tracked down on LinkedIn and basically cursed out and threatened and everything known to man. He got hell. So clients are awesome. The ones I've been able to help now going on 27 years. No, God. 38 years. God, we're gonna have to update the website, aren't we?
Well, yes, because currently you're admitting to more years of life, which is a much longer story.
Again. But no, I've had amazing clients. I've had amazing experiences. Yeah, I go to bat. If I think a network is shitting and being shit, they hear about it. And they get told. I'm really nice to clients and I'm really nice on here. Joseph has seen me not in nice mode. Joseph has seen the CEO and me come out and be like, oh, we ain't fucking with this shit. Here's how you're going to do it. Or you will get retribution.
Oh, yes. But no, and yeah, that's the interesting, to go to Devin's the last comment down here real quick is, yeah, that's the interesting part as a couple. Professionally, people tell him stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I randomly meet human beings who feel compelled to tell me their life story.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a problem for me. I don't have that problem. It has actually, however, been a problem in past relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like, how do you know them? And I'm like, I don't. This is literally the first time I've ever spoken to that human being in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, we're talking about like their kid's drug problem and their ex-husband and all of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's 3 a.m. in a gas station.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I feel like I'm a human lie detector, or not even, well, no, truth serum. Like, apparently I admit the same chemical components of truth serum that you just feel compelled to tell me
in your clone. But no, originally when I started Keen, it was a trip to Goodwill to purchase a computer for $27. And a call to AT&T to get another phone line drawn into the house, and they were like suspicious.
Okay, so AT&T freaked out about your second phone line?
No, my fourth.
Oh, yeah, they start to wonder about that one. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Because they had to come and run the phone line, because at that time, and because of the Miss Cleo incident, you couldn't run a network on, like, I have one computer for the 8 now networks I have. Yes, I'm down because I fired some. Then we had to have one computer for each network, all by itself. Yeah. That was a nightmare. Pendulum readings are great for accuracy for yourself.
So now, okay, I think we've slowed down enough. We can go back to, and your thoughts on the Long Island medium.
I think she has a great press agent I would like to talk to. I think that she has a lovely ghostwriter I would like to talk to. I think her private sessions are amazing and she has great skill. I think her ethical code, however, is trash.
There you go. Sorry, I've heard this because once upon a time, I forget what you started out watching, but somehow you got into episodes of the Long Island Medium.
That was, and it's a YouTube problem. I started out watching a training from Gnostics. Yes, Devin. Yes. I started out watching a documentary from the Gnostics, the Church of Gnosticism in San Antonio, I think. Anyway, it was this documentary on psychic because I'm always looking for the why. You know, that's why I have all the paperwork. I have all that. It's because I want to know why. Is it biochemistry? Is it my soul spiritualism? Is it literally just a skill that I've picked up over time and able to do? I want the why to go with the master in metaphysics, with the masters in tarot, with the registered psychic that, you know, isn't offered anymore. And I was watching this documentary and I fell asleep and YouTube popped up the next one, which was TLC's Long Island Medium. And I am like,
oh, yes. And you know, what's funny with you, though, is I have to point out, is he will sit and watch television that he or a program, whatever, that he totally disagrees with, that he absolutely cannot stand, that is ticking him off, and he will just keep going, and it is like endless Mystery Science Theater commentary the whole way through. Like, right. That's bullshit. No, you can't do that. No, you shouldn't do that. Blah, blah, blah. It is like...
I hate watch.
It is his Super Bowl. He is a fan of the sport, and he is calling the ref every name in the book.
Yeah.
Like, that's how it runs.
Right.
So, yeah, no, it's fun. It's fun when you watch stuff, or it can be, depending upon what you're watching.
It can be very fun, especially if I'm watching something for business, like marketing, development, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I will sit there and get into it like a freaking beast, take what I need out of it, and walk out and go, that person couldn't read their head out of their ass. I don't know what the hell they are doing.
Well, now sometimes it's also fun when they do, like, with the different networks or the different things you're involved in, like a live stream.
Uh-huh.
And, like, you're muted and off camera. Like, you'll be in conference calls or whatever, and, like, they start getting into material you disagree with, or someone's talking out their ass or whatever. And it's the same thing. And it's like, honey, I hope your microphone don't kick on. I swear to God. I swear.
Oh, no, I'm not normally muted. I am not normally muted in conference calls anymore.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I called somebody when they said, after each call, you should send a custom email. And then in 2 weeks, send an email to follow up with the reading. Like, how was the date you had? And I said, if you have 3 damn clients, you can do that.
See, these are things I hear in another room, and I think you're muted.
No. No, I'm not muted. It's like they wanted us, what was it, last quarter to begin trying to do pings.
Mm-hmm.
These are basically text messages to each of our clients. I currently have 49,000 clients. They do not have mass pinging available.
Yes. So, well, and these are also some of the issues you encounter after 15 years. Like, if you're looking at, like, their average employee, or, well, not employee, independent contractor,
yes,
their average person on the network that's maybe been there a couple of years or a few, however long they've been there. Like it's typically a lot shorter than 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And their client base, if they're just, kind of doing the whole like, I'm a soccer mom and I work 2 hours a day kind of mindset, and they pick up maybe, 50 clients a year.
Mm-hmm.
Like new people. Like they talk to the same people a lot, but mostly they're just picking up like 50 max clients a year. And they've only been there a couple of years. 150 messages, no big deal. Aw, night, Gwen. Glad you could join us.
Yeah, no big deal. And Devin, we're going to get to your question.
We will. But no, like, and a lot of it's modeled around that. Yeah. And like we've even had discussions, like some issues that you've run into have more to do with like the number of clients you have, how long you've been on the network, all of the things that have been done to your, so to speak, account in the system, and then you have a lot of detailed records. Yeah. So when they're trying to calculate, like, for instance, your ranking on the site, or your, feedback scores, or, they're trying to figure out your average call time or your business value. Like there's all these metrics that they run. I've actually had a point. I wonder if you're maxing out the system when they try to calculate it.
Well, I do max
out. Trying to load too much data to process.
Well, I do max out the system because I used to do something when I first started and I loved it. It was called 99 cents weekend. This is after I raised my price to a whole 127. So it was 99 cents weekend, minute for minute. And literally, I had customer service come to me and say, "Will you stop doing that? You're crashing our PBX."
Gotta love that.
Yeah.
Like, stop killing our phone system.
And it was because I had too many clients, because I've always said I'm Coke. I will be everywhere. I am not Louis Vuitton that'll only be one place.
Right. Like every street corner, every vending machine, everywhere that you can be.
Yep.
Yeah. Got it. Sorry, I was like, sorry, when you said you were Coke, even I went somewhere weird with that, and I was like, okay, I'm trying to follow the analogy, but I'll get there. So all right, let's catch Devin real quick.
Yep.
All right. So 31678. Been trying to figure out what my spirit animal is.
Your spirit animal, you have two. One is this big giant panda. The other is more of a tiger.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So moving right along.
Yep, moving right along.
Okay, so Mika 22082. I try to be an open book to help others, but I'm just wondering if I'm telling too much or showing too much of my personality on Facebook.
I think you got to understand when you do that, Mika. I don't think you're doing anything wrong. However, people set their boundary, their expectations, and get very vulnerable when you start sharing vulnerability. And it may be hitting people in sore spots. So be an open book, but be one that people have to read.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Did we miss any other questions? Because sometimes this happens, guys, and y'all have been watching a show a while. Sometimes we get on topic and we're just going and we miss stuff.
Yeah. But we did have, I wanted to talk about pendulums and pendulum reading, and I do have a pendulum class that we may be putting on. Do you have yours handy?
I think so. 1 second. Sorry, the Joe wallet. Wait, did we relocate? I thought it was still in here.
It's in your change pocket.
That's what I thought, but I don't know. Somewhere between the 14,000 Chinese restaurant
Wishes.
fortune cookies. This is what happens. We took it out of that little baggie. No, it's not in here.
Okay, turn around. Look at.
Oh, wait a second. It's in the other change pocket. New wallet, guys. I'm still like we're what, 2 months in?
Yeah.
I'm still struggling. Like, I love my big ass wallet.
Mm-hmm.
But okay.
So you have a pendulum. You're doing a reading. If
Okay.
you're going to do it for yourself, you need to put your elbow on the table.
How about elbow on the laptop? Does that work?
That works just fine.
I feel like my pendulum says no.
That works just fine. You want to stop the pendulum when it's spinning. And every time ask it if it's a, what is yes, what is no. And go from there.
Hope to God the dog does not decide to scratch itself on the main beam of the house.
Right. But anyhow, that's what pendulum readings are. Are they accurate? They're running around 75% accurate when you're reading. That's not as high as the psychic readings, but that's very good into intelling it.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
and Joe loved his.
Me.
You really locked onto pendulum readings, which I thought was unique and enjoyable.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's not like I've used it a lot, but I did enjoy the class. It was very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Miss Kathy is up next.
All righty. So Kathy, 72862. I have to get a cost to replace my rear bumper, and then my attorney will submit our demands. Does my settlement happen before Christmas?
No, you're looking at mid-January into early February.
Oh, no.
Sorry. Courts are slow.
Essentially. And Devin says thank you. Of
You're
course.
welcome.
Yes. And Mika, same boat. Makes sense. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. But no, guys, it's been a fun 15 years. Maybe in the next 15, they'll finally get my hologram ready for me.
Oh, gosh.
Well, you can use anything. Sewing needle with red thread or black thread or white thread. You can use a wedding ring on a necklace string, on a necklace or a string. You can use a bracelet as a pendant. You can use a pendulum. That's one of the universals. You need to talk to your other lawyer on that one. It's still going through. You just need to get a part of the class action against the doctor.
Oh, is this going to be one of those?
It will be. Messy Marvin.
Oh, no.
Well, it can't be simple. It's Kathy.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't mean that. It's just I like hate those doctor situations. They're that like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But guys, please be safe. Please wash your hands. Please stay home. If you don't need to be there, don't. Of course, I'm going back into isolation until, I don't know, the human race of America gets a clue.
Yes.
So I will not be doing live events, unfortunately. We were so hoping to do CLS tomorrow, but that's not going to happen.
Yeah. I know, guys. It sucks. Believe me. We're not staying home like we like to.
Yeah.
We're staying home for hell.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know about everyone else on 2020 and like how this year's been, but it's like I'm sick of being home. Like I think everyone is. Like there's just
our lifestyle is not built to be homebodies.
Do what now?
Our lifestyle is not built to be homebodies.
Mm-mm. No. Now, granted, I'm still out a fair amount because I am doing the driving for like your mom and stuff for their
Right.
doctor stuff.
Right.
So, but still, it's like that's basically I go out, sit in a car, and then try to figure out the safest place to go to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah. But
I mean, literally, I've had that moment of like, like, where do I choose this? Like, what's the like most decently run place I can go? And I'm currently choosing Sheets.
yeah.
Like, sorry, Sheets. Hate to poop and run, but
But no. So yeah, Aeson's back at home. So there may be some videos of just videos. I've not really had a lot of time to do some wedding videos, so I may do another 7 or 8 of them on Sunday and just preload them. Which means my Patreons get a lot of early viewing of those. And that's different. We're going to be celebrating, I think it's 12 years later this month of the network. It'll be another Mountain Bear show, actually.
Oh, good deal.
Yeah.
So awesome.
Yep.
And of course, we want to thank our Patreon sponsors, Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda Bryant, and last but not least, the Crystal Lotus Shop, located at 89 Old Main Plaza in St. Albans, West Virginia. If you're in the area, make sure you stop in.
Yep.
And if you'd like to learn more about the show or about us or become a Patreon sponsor, please make sure to visit PCSPnetwork.com.
Yep. And guys, if you know friends that would like our commentary, like our talk, like our show, share it with them.
Absolutely.
The more sharing that occurs, the more viewing goes out, and the more we get an idea of what y'all guys want to see.
Yeah, and probably a better question, and we'll go live on this and see what happens. But Brenda, if you're still there, so what did Canadian Michael think? Like, I want to hear. We didn't get to Dish. What did Canadian Michael think? I want to hear. Like, go ahead, be candid. We're cool. Brenda, paging Brenda. I know there's a delay.
She may not still be here, honey. I mean, because it's going on 11:30.
I know, but like we short showed and we weren't that late.
We're getting there.
Yeah, a little bit.
She'll tell us later.
Later. Okay, fine. Let us know.
Yeah.
You can barista chat if you want.
Yep. And of course, Patrons, do remember that you have the Facebook private group to interact with us a lot. And also, Joe, make a note to go in there and post to figure out when we're going to do our Q&A for this month.
Ooh, cool deal. Will do.
Yep. All right, y'all. Good night. Have a great night. Be safe.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.